Okay, so this story comes to us from Jeff Edgars at the Washington Post. So, Martin Luther King Jr.'s children called the museum with an intriguing invitation. They had something they knew the National Museum of African American History and Culture wanted. So in January, curator Rex Ellis headed to Atlanta, slipped on a pair of white gloves, and carefully turned the pages of King's traveling Bible. The public last saw it during President Obama's second inauguration when it was borrowed from the family. It was heavier than I thought it would be, remembers Ellis, the museum's associate director of curatorial affairs. Not only was it the weight of the object itself, but the weight of what it was. You're holding it like it's a baby. I was uncomfortable holding it for long. Ellis and his colleagues didn't hold it for long. The half-hour meeting with Martin III ended without a loan, a gift, or any other promises. The Bible and a second key item, the Nobel Peace Prize awarded to King in 1964, were placed back into a bank vault. When the museum opens September 24th, no major artifacts from the civil rights icon will be on display. It's outrageous, said Clarence Jones, the former King attorney who filed the copyright for his I Have a Dream speech in 1963. This is the Smithsonian. This is not just another party. This is one of the most important institutions now in the 21st century. And this is probably the greatest civil rights leader in the 20th century. I find it shameful and I'm sad. Jones doesn't blame the museum's curators, instead focusing on the widely known obstacle historians, filmmakers, and others have faced for years. King's children, Bernice, Martin III, and Dexter. For years, the siblings have blocked media outlets from using King's words or image without paying what some have described as exorbitant licensing fees. Hey, pay them, pay them. That's right. Stand on that, children. I'm with you. The nonprofit foundation that built the monument to King on the Mall, finished in 2011, paid $800,000. The estate also has sued when they think they are not being sufficiently compensated. That included going after King's close friend Harry Belafonte when the actor and singer wanted to sell letters and other papers given him by King for charity. Belafonte eventually sued the King estate and won the right to bring the items to auction. In 2013, the King estate, as part of a lawsuit, demanded that Andrew Young, another King confidant and the former mayor of Atlanta, be removed from the board of the King Center for Nonviolent Social Change after his foundation used material featuring King in a documentary. The case was dismissed. The children have taken each other to court repeatedly. Bernice and Martin III once sued Dexter. Dexter sued them back. Most recently, Martin and Dexter sued Bernice over who was the authority to sell the Nobel Peace Prize and Bible. Former President Jimmy Carter was brought in to help mediate an agreement. Last month, a judge settled it instead, clearing the way for the brothers to sell the Nobel Peace Prize and the Bible. Given these seemingly endless conflicts, historian David J. Garrow said he's not surprised that the museum will open without a single item given or loaned by the King family. I could not be more cynical, more jaded on this subject, said Garrow, who won the 1987 Pulitzer Prize for his book, Bearing the Cross, Martin Luther King Jr. and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Given the family's behavior this last 20 years, they're unlikely to have any interest in sharing without a large upfront payment. Hey, their father, he was a great man, and these other great historians pay these prices. So it's not clear what the King children plan to do with the precious items now that the latest round of lawsuits is resolved. Attempts to talk with the siblings offer a glimpse into the delicacy of the relationship. For a week, the family did not respond to repeated requests for interviews. Finally, Dexter King asked Philip Jones, a friend and the general manager of the King estate, to respond. In an interview Thursday night, Jones said the family would be open to the artifacts ending up in the museum, but that there had been no discussions about how that might occur. The King children, he said, have been focused on repairing the relationships damaged by the most recent lawsuit. It's an extraordinary museum, and the family believes that, certainly, said Jones, and we think it would be wonderful if these items were there. We just haven't been able to focus on it. But on Friday morning, Jones spoke to Dexter King, who told him he was not authorized to speak for the family, only the estate. Jones demanded that references to family or we be removed from any of his previous quotes. It would not even be this way if there had not been legal disagreements between these family members who were trying to heal, said Jones. Dexter reminded me how sensitive things are. It is important to note that the museum has not asked to borrow items from the family. Museum director Lonnie Bunch said that's because the museum prefers to seek out permanent works that don't need to be returned. Michelle Gates Moresi, supervisor and museum curator of collections, who also went on the January visit to Atlanta to see the Kings, described the meeting as a first step in building a relationship. In addition, the curators knew the legal dispute still hovered over the items and that even if they were available to buy, the museum doesn't have that kind of money on hand. Yeah, so if you'd like to hear more news, updates, and information, please subscribe to @yourblackworld.net. My name is Yurima Karama at Your Black World News.